And Myrna, this mic is all yours.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Myrna.
Good
Today's
morning.
one of your favorite lessons, lesson 184.
My favorite lesson
Well, the name of God is my
is my inheritance. Yes, it is a good lesson. And today's lesson, as a matter of fact, actually, my favorite lesson has always been lesson number 93.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, yeah. We all have a favorite. Which one is yours? Which lesson do you like that speaks to you?
Depends on what is going on. I always say, if you really need help, go to lesson 109. I rest in God. If you don't know what's going on, go to lesson 25. I do not know what anything is for. And you get in touch with your purpose. And if your purpose is truth, that's all you have to know is my purpose is truth, and the truth will be given to me. But if my purpose is to learn something or to get more or whatever it is, that's the ego's purpose. So that's why I do not know what anything is for. It helps out a lot.
Yeah. You posted something in the chat. The name of God is my inheritance, today's lesson,
Yeah,
which you mentioned.
it's Ken Wapnick's commentary on today's lesson. I'll just mention it. Lesson 184. The name of God is my inheritance, and Ken's commentary is even though we all have names in this world, we learn that we remain the same. Kind of reminds me of Amanda Salk's, uh, the very first poem she read to us. What is your identity if your name is not your identity? And it's a wonderful poem. If you haven't heard it, it's really wonderful. I wouldn't even mind reading it here again. Ken goes on to say, even though we have all have different names in this world, we learn that we all remain the same, regardless of our name, sharing the single interest of awakening. So this single interest is the same as purpose. You know, what is my purpose? Truth, awakening. You're in the right place. From the ego's dream of hate and death, this inherent unity, and that word unity has a real prime meaning in this course because he says truth is union. Union means that only what's real is included, nothing that's unreal is included in union or unity. Means our thoughts of judgment and attack are flimsy attempts to deny the unity we share as Christ, as well as the right-minded reflection of forgiveness. Ken Wapnick. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes. What's jumping out at me is attack and forgiveness, two opposites. And when we think about, the inherent unity means our thoughts of judgment and attack are but flimsy attempts to deny the unity that we share with Christ. So it tells us that we are in denial, that we really look away from the truth and the Christ that we share. We share the name of Christ. That's really our identity, our true identity. Our individual identity is really the ego's identity, and without that, we would have none. We would have no ego identity. So the name Christ is what the Christ mind, and we all share that because we're all a part of that Christ mind. A little while ago, I was listening to Sharon and Lynn speak about the man Jesus. The Bill Thetford was saying that the Bible interpretation of who Jesus is not the same Jesus that is in the Course of Miracles. I sort of wondered about that. I wondered really because Jesus was a man who saw the face of Christ in everyone, and the Course in Miracles also, brings us to that learning that understanding that we're all part of that sameness, that and Jesus himself was a man who came in form, who was really representing the Christ mind, tried to instill that and teach that in those days. And so I see, like 2,000 years later, he comes alive again in the Course in Miracles, resurrecting that belief, that truth. So I really enjoy both Christs, even though it's just one, the man Jesus that walked the earth, and the Christ mind, in which we are, as I said, we can't deny that that's what we are. That's our identity. Any thoughts about that?
Well, I have just a few thoughts. I don't make it a big thing that it's not the same. I know that if you listen to Ken Wapnick will make a statement sound something like this. If you think that the Jesus of the Course is the same Jesus from 2,000 years ago, you're making a big mistake and you're going to go wrong in this course. So I've heard him say that several times, and I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't put a lot of thought into that thing. I do know that Helen never really used the word Jesus. She said the voice, and so she didn't say Jesus this and Jesus that. She did say the voice spoke to me and said this. On the other hand, I don't give it a lot of thought one way or the other. I understand why Ken says it, but I don't teach it myself.
Yeah. Well,
can I say something real quick here?
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to interject, but
sure.
the reason that it's not the man Jesus is because the man Jesus was a figure in the dream, not the Christ, even
Very
though
good. Very
he
good.
identified with the Christ, but it could have been the man Joe or the man or the woman Joan, who knows? But it just happened to be that he was the one who identified with the
Yeah.
Christ. So, and that's a figure in the dream that doesn't even really exist and never really happened. So it's an enigma.
Thank you for saying that, Lynn, because now you remind me exactly why Ken talks about it. Jesus 2,000 years ago was a man inside the dream, and he came to demonstrate that that he's not a body by resurrecting. But the Jesus of this course is not inside the dream. He's outside the dream. He's in our right mind, and he tells you, please don't invite me into your dream to tell you to do this. And he makes fun of Helen, who did invite him into, show me where to stand for a taxi cab, show me where to go for a fur coat, where is it I should buy my shoes. And he went along with it, but he told her, this is not why I'm here, So, and basically, Ken is talking to people who would love Jesus to help them in the dream. He's not going to help you in the dream because he wants you to wake up and join him outside the dream. Thank you so much, Lynn.
Yes, it's a good explanation. I like to hear Ken speak about Helen. Because I listened to very many of his tapes, especially years ago. There was one event that he talks about where Helen was having difficulty with somebody. She was very upset because she thought that somebody that she knew was trying to explore the Course in Miracles in a way that didn't make her happy. She didn't want, she was very protective of the Course. And he said to her, well, then let's just pray to Jesus. And she thought that was a good idea. They prayed, and they prayed to Jesus. I remember he used Jesus as the name. And but the very next day, she got very mad at him. very mad at him. He said, I left thinking everything was perfect. He said, the next day I came back and she really denied the fact that I had made that suggestion. It was interesting. Helen was protective of the course, but yet, I never understood that analogy, but I enjoyed listening to Ken because he told us, he was able to relate what went on with him and Helen and Bill Thetford. And it's such an interesting group because the group itself really try to understand the Course in Miracles just as we do. And and I could see that, and because Ken Wapnick is able to make the analogies as he does, and he did it so well. He was a very good person to listen to because he didn't make anything complicated. He made it really easy to understand. But that was one thing that I do remember. And then he spoke about Helen asking Jesus where to shop. And he told her because, he would get whatever he could from her. Okay. So that in a way was a trade-off somehow. And that's what I remember Ken talking, relating to that particular scenario, that she had with Jesus. Interesting. The whole Course in Miracles is an amazing phenomenon, because once you really become involved in it, you really kind of get through the thought of, well, it's boring, it's dry, I'm not interested in it. Once you reach beyond that, it pulls you in a very different way, because now they're not just words that are speaking to you. It speaks to your heart, it speaks to your soul. And when you start to realize that the help that you need and that you're getting it, because we all need help in one way or another. Sometimes we just don't know where to venture for it. We just flounder. And so when something like the Course in Miracles comes along, it really does seem like the answer. But it isn't the answer until we really begin to practice the Course, practice the ideas, the truths that come forth through the Course in Miracles. Yes, Doug.
I just want to say, if you want to hear more of Ken's, and no one knew Helen better than Ken, basically. He was like always with her until the end of her life. On Saturdays at 10:30 Eastern Time, Lynn and Bruce, can't think Bruce's last name, Bruce Rawls reads from Absence of Felicity. And you can get the book, of course. Absence of Felicity is all about really Ken's relationship, or he talks about the stories of Helen. And listening to on Saturday, I listened to Bruce and Len. It's really good stuff. And you can make it 10:30 to 11:30. That's just before we have our 11:30 meeting, so we can just come an hour earlier. I thought it might be nice to read exactly because of today's lesson 184. In lesson 184, it says, the name of God is my inheritance. And I remember the day that I said, I want to know what the name of God is. So I used a fine-tooth comb and went through that lesson, which is about 2 pages long, and I could not find the name of God. And finally, I gave up. Well, that's because God has no name. To name anything is to set it apart from something else. And that, of course, is falsity. It's not truth. Truth sees union, which all is one. So there is no name for God. But I mean, if you want to use something that basically is close, or maybe it is love. Eternal, unconditional love is the name for God. I mean, he says, God's will for me is perfect happiness. It's like love's will for me is perfect happiness. as a matter of fact, I used to say, and Ken Wapnick does say in his teachings, he says the only thing that's true in A Course in Miracles is God is. And that's a two-word sentence with a period after, and the next sentence says, and then you cease to speak. So he says that's the only thing that's true. Everything else is a concept. So that being so, I many years ago I took up the idea if God is, then isness, which is the same as truth is, God is, peace is, isness is really the eternal mind of God. We live in the mind of God, which is, it's in isness. There's no nouns. It's a verb. Is a verb. So along comes Amanda Soap with her book. And the first thing I said, my God, what a great title. Isness is your only business. Isness is your only. I said, my God, I've been saying that for years. Isness is what the mind of God is. And she wrote these power packed poems, which she describes on the front cover, has the power to transform, inspire, heal, and liberate. And I thought, being that today is about the name of God as my inheritance, and it comes to the final understanding that God has no name. That's the same thing as her very first poem in the book, which you find on page 18. What is your identity if you are not your name? So I have no name in reality. Because to say that I'm Dove or David or Myrna or Regis or Lynn or Sharon or Mikhail, Lindy, whatever, Karen, you're setting things apart. And in truth, we are one. So names just separate. So,
Dove, I just want to ask you where you got it, because I'm
sure,
looking,
Sharon, go ahead.
where'd you get the book?
Oh, I bought it from Amazon. 12
Now,
bucks.
what is it, Amanda, and then how do you spell her last name?
Solk, Solk. Solk.
Okay. Because I just loved Solk. I just thought her poems were absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
She's been here.
Oh, I know. I was there yesterday. I heard.
Yeah, the last 2 Mondays, right? It starts at 10 and goes to about 11:30.
I don't know why I can't find it.
If anyone has a book they want to read it, Lynn, I don't know I know you have the book. I kind of need to go get some water right now. Would you like to read it, Lynn, by any chance?
Sure. You want to hear the poem? Is that
Yeah, the whole poem.
Yeah. Let me.
And if you stop where she stops, where it says forget your memory and take 10 seconds of silence. I really, she says the poem stops the mind. And she asks after, did anyone's mind stop after that? I said, yes. So I'll turn it over to you, Lynn. I'll be right back.
Just one more thing. Is it SALK?
SOLK.
Oh, SOLK. I still
Yeah,
can't.
and Amazon will try to change it to Silk.
Yeah.
But it's SOLK. Amanda Salk.
And if you go to YouTube under our name, Gather for
I know. I listened this morning. I just don't see it, but it could be my Amazon. It's not bringing it up.
But it happened. Let's see. Today it happened. Not yesterday, July 1, but I guess June 25th or something like that. The Monday, and you get to see her actually reading the entire poem, and she does it really well. I know that Lynn does it well too. So Lynn, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Okay. So and so she does this as a contemplation meditation type of thing. So she'll ask the questions and she expects that you're going to stop and answer or think about it for a moment. But I'm just going to read it through. What is your identity if you are not your name? Oh, here, let me get this so that people in Talk can hear me, because they don't if I don't. Some kind of, there we go. There we go. All right. What is your identity if you are not your name? What is your identity if you're not your name? Now gone is the familiar, and nothing looks the same. Your identity is formed before your first birthday, created by all the names for things that you learned to say. But you are not your mind. The beliefs or thoughts, labels, descriptions, all the things you've been taught, all the conditioning that made you believe a separate individual has been conceived. Yet the word individual means undivided and connected to the source where all is provided. But this great truth gets overridden. The conditioned mind keeps the gold well hidden, and your personality is a non-reality to which you've been subscribing by your constant describing of everything you see and hear, creating feelings of mortal fear, because the mind is restless and never still. And this addiction to thinking is what makes you ill. Ignoring totally what's in between this present moment, which is never seen, when you're so very interested in all the thinking, which just creates more thoughts and sentence linking. But with whom are you having this conversation? There's only you there on investigation, for you are not your mind. This truth is so easy to find. Simply cease for a moment whatever you are doing, and instantly you stop accruing more thoughts, joining up like paper chains. Just less than a second, you can rest free of pains from this continuous narration of your fertile imagination, relentlessly turning like a hamster in a wheel. Just pause for a moment, rest, and heal. And so now, for a little exercise, just stop and try this one on for size. Imagine you have no memory at all. Your name, your life, you cannot recall. The roles you play, like daughter or son, and all the jobs you've ever done, your age, your shape, your nationality, all you've believed as your reality, where you live or who you know, everything, just let it go. And now, what's left without the mental narration? At last, we find silence, our true foundation. This is the kingdom of God, our home. The I am, your pure being, is the only one on the throne. Keep quiet, no matter what the worries or fear. Silence underlies all the images that appear. Beyond the mind is an infinite space of this invisible present moment place. Keep quiet inside. Rest and abide. Keep still. Keep quiet. Be still. Let the silence completely fill. So what is your identity if you are not your name? Gone is the familiar and nothing looks the same. Keep quiet. No matter what the worries or fear, silence underlies all the images that appear. Beyond the mind is an infinite space, discovered in the silence of this present moment place. Keep quiet inside. Rest and abide. Keep quiet. Be still. Let the silence completely fill.
Thank you for that. I find that such a healing poem. Kind of reminds me of can't see the forest for the trees, like the trees behind me. You know, the trees are like my thoughts. And because I'm so busy looking at my thoughts and entertaining them, serving them tea, that I forget that there's a whole universe out there of peace, light, love, and union. Because the trees seem to be individual. They seem to be there's old trees, young trees, new trees, bad trees. You gotta laugh. You simply gotta laugh. Any thoughts, anybody? Myrna?
This is really, I mean, it's beautiful. It's written in poetic form, and it's a gentle, way to really, just relax and take in, the words that really are just beautifully put together. It's very nice. It really is.
Yeah, and she has about, I don't know, 30 or 40 of these poems in there, taking on different topics. There's one on gratitude, which I think is wonderful.
Mhm.
There's one on the way of the heart, one on what is darkness in this moment. So she uses the power of poetry, and she says, it's meant to stop the mind from thinking. And
Does too. She's an artist, I want to say.
yeah, exactly. And
Did you go on her website? Her artwork's fabulous.
yeah, she's very creative, very.
Yeah. I mean, her poems blow me away. I wonder if they're on Audible.
Yeah, it is on Audible. Yes, it is.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yes,
Okay.
it is on Audible. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and not only is she on Audible, if you look her up, actually, she is the narrator for Choose Only Love, which is a series of books by Sebastian Blakeslee, who wrote The Age of the Heart. So if you buy the Audible books of those, it's Mandy who's reading those books as well. So
Wow. I mean, I just cannot get over this talent. And yeah, I get Audible. I'm going to get this book. I love her voice. I just loved her. And I watched it again today because I just find it does stop the mind. It stops it in its tracks.
Yes. Did anybody, I wasn't able to get to it last night, but I understand that The Age of the Heart featured Sebastian Blakeslee. I missed it last night. Did you catch that?
and you missed something really great, and you'll never
Yeah.
hear it again. No, I'm just kidding. It was very good though.
Okay.
Yeah, Sebastian was there and he answered questions,
Mhm.
lots of questions, and he's going to be in Scotland. I'm going to be seeing him. That's one thing I'm very excited about.
Oh,
Is,
you're going to Scotland. You talked about it last week. You going?
yes, I am going.
That's great.
It's an amazing thing, but I'm still like I'm like Helen. My head is just swimming with it. But yeah, I'm right now I'm filling out my to get my passport renewed online. So yep, going to Scotland on September 1st through the 5th. So that's one thing that we're going to be doing is figuring out who's going to watch the room and make sure everything works while I'm gone, because I'm not sure if I'll have the ability to do much of anything internet wise.
I can watch doing that for years.
Yeah, that's we're just talking about how keeping the groups going and making sure all the stupid things. I think it's going to show me that I'm not as necessary as I thought I was.
I
But
do.
anyway, I'm gonna stop
Let-
talking and let you guys continue.
If you'd like to listen to Sebastian Blakeslee, he spoke for about 10 minutes last night. And of course, Dove being Dove, I recorded it. I can play it right here if you're interested.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, take me a second. Let's see how fast I can get it done.
I don't know. I wouldn't try to ask for a synopsis, but whatever appeals to you to say at this important moment would be wonderful, and then we can come on with our dialogue.
Introducing Sebastian.
Thank you, Glenn, and thanks everyone here for inviting me to be part of this encounter today, and also for allowing me to work together with all of you as a community. I feel this as a celebration to see all of you and to be here with you. So thank you very much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And talking about the age of the heart, I would like to share one paragraph of the final words, which is the last one, that I feel it summarizes the key message here that comes from heaven. And it says, "Blessed soul born of the eternal mother, in whose embrace you live forever united to endless life. I tell you truly that the angels of heaven, and with them all living beings, sing a hymn of praise and gratitude for your return to love, for your return to the house of truth. The harmonies of heaven are heard throughout the universe in the creation's response to your recognition of the holiness that you are, always were, and always will be. Creation knows that in this recognition resides the salvation of the world. I thank you for your yes to love. And I feel and believe, based on the revelation received and my own experience, that this last paragraph is telling us the key message of this revelation. The age of the heart comes to us as a recognition, as a remembrance of something that we know deep in our heart, but we forgot in previous ages. It is the fact that we are returning back to the Father's house. The Father's house is our true self. It's the Christ that we truly are. The age of the heart is telling us that we are now ready to accept the Christ that we truly are. So it is the time in which Christ is beginning to shine in every single aspect of humanity, which means in all of us. The second advent means, for this revelation, the manifestation of Christ in our humanity. So becoming the human Christ, the human God that we are called to be, is the remembrance that this manifestation is bringing to us. It also tells us that we are now ready to accept the holiness that we are, to live in the innocence of our true self. And once human beings begin to live in the innocence of our true self, everything changes. Because all of our wounds and everything that we do against love comes from the misunderstanding of what we are, comes from not reminding the holiness that we are. That's why now we are in a time in which Christ can be manifested through us because we accept the innocence that we are. And I would also like to address one question that comes in this manifestation. And that question is, it is enough to accept our true identity, the Christ that we truly are, in order to heal the world and to co-create the new earthly kingdom, or we need to do something? It is just about accepting the true identity, or we need some particular activities in order to change something? And I believe that's a very important question for this revelation. And the answer to that question, based on the age of the heart, is that once we accept our true self, once we are connected to the Christ that we are, doing and being are one and the same. Because doing is the way of expressing our true self. So all the actions that we do based on the connection that we have with our true self, with the love that which we are going to be manifestations of the divine love. We have the capacity of doing, but we need to be guided. So the question is not actually whether I had to do something or not, but where am I doing what I do? Am I doing everything guided by the Holy Spirit? Am I being connected to my true self and listen constantly to our Divine Mother, talking to us and guiding us to use all our humanity in order to express the Christ that we are? That is the question that we can ask to us in order to know whether we are connected to our true self or we forgot the love that we truly are. The age of the heart, finally, I would like to say that the age of the heart is a way of Mary. It's bringing the way of Mary into the new. Because Mary, the way of Mary is the way of the incarnation of Christ in our humanity. It's the way of giving birth to Christ. And we give birth to Christ through the extension of what we are, through the manifestation of our humanity. So once we accept that we are Christ, all of us are Christ, and we integrate our divine essence into our humanity. What is extended through our humanity is Christ. Through our actions, through our thoughts, through our feelings, through everything that we are as human beings. So the Christ that borns in us is manifested through the manifestations that we give to the world through our new humanity, which is a humanity united to the divine essence that we truly are. Being aware of the both natures that we are is all about the age of the heart. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian. As being aware that we are both human and divine and integrating those. All right, well, we are open for dialogue. Matthew, you hit the button first, so you
Yeah, I feel like I was a Jeopardy show there. Hi, everyone. Hi, Sebastian. Thanks. Just a quick question. Does it resonate with you that, 2,000 years ago when they coined the phrase to be born again, do you think that back then the minority of people that were writing, scriptures and whatnot, we're talking about then what you just mentioned now?
Thank you, Matthew, for your question. Would you mind repeating it? Just I want to make sure that I listen. Okay,
Sure.
Come back.
No, 2,000 years ago in Scripture, there was phraseology that spoke of being born again, and when you just gave your narration just now, my thoughts went to to those phrases, right? Where they mentioned being born again, but it was a minority of people, I think, that, you know, may have understood that way back then. In terms of what that, you know, manifested as. Do you see a connection or a correlation between their thought back then and what you're describing now?
Thank you for repeating the question. I just wanted to make sure that I understood. And I strongly feel and believe, Matthew, that you are expressing the essence of this revelation. The age of the heart is the time in which we are ready to reborn from the Spirit. And that is the expression that was used at that time by Jesus, that it wasn't understood clearly at that time, because in that age of the heart, in that age of consciousness, human beings used to be very focused on the understanding and the mind, the thinking mind. That's why they say when they have that dialogue with Jesus, we cannot reborn, because no one can reborn from the mother. But Jesus was talking about reborning from the Spirit. That was a prophecy according to the revelation received. And that prophecy is talking about these times, the time of the second advent, which means the time in which a new humanity is born from the Spirit. So the age of the heart is also, when we say the return to the Father house, which means returning to our true self, means a time in which human beings will begin to live focused on their soul, on their spirit, on their heart. So yes, we are living now in the time of the reborn from the Spirit, as Jesus said 2,000 years ago, particularly in the dialogue with Nicodemus, which was one of the, theologians at that moment, and scholars, in the very important scholar at that moment.
Recording stopped.
Yeah. Yes, I would say absolutely, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing this to this dialogue. Very, very, very nice.
Welcome.
I think the recording is.
I think we lost. I don't see Glenn. So I could probably start a recording on my end, but I thought maybe we could wait a moment and have Glenn come back and he can restart the recording.
Sure, we can.
I don't know what happened.
Remain in silence for a few minutes.
I'll run upstairs and ask Glenn.
Written and read by Amanda Salk. This book
You're muted, Dove. Dove? You're muted. Okay, we don't hear.
I muted myself because I didn't want to just continue. It goes on for another 45 minutes. I wanted to turn it back over to you. And for anyone who hasn't heard Sebastian earlier, it was a good way to get to know him. So Myrna, I'll turn the mic back over to you.
Yeah, well, the question about born again, and he went into that, that humanity, that 2,000 years ago, nobody could have understood what that meant. The rebirth of the, the truth, the rebirth of a new humanity, really, which is what I think we are all striving for, to really get into that. The age of the heart is the new consciousness, the consciousness that we're really all becoming very much a part of and also aware of. And because we are in right now in the beginning stages of that, we're more available to the truth of it. And I keep using the word truth. The truth is just is, the truth is what is. The truth is, the connection, the revelation, the understanding that we are of a different identity. It's not the ego's identity that we're so focused on, the rebirth of a new consciousness. And he speaks about that, in such a healing way. You like listening to the softness of his voice. And, he's was speaking about based on the age of the heart, according to the age of the heart. And all of that is in the age of the heart, the connection, and how, it's all the same. The Course in Miracles or the Age of the Heart, or so many other revelations that come about in today's world. It's all the same thing. What he's saying is very much what we're familiar with, because we know about this in A Course in Miracles. And the Course in Miracles talks about being born again.
Yes, yeah. If you're doing the course, listening to Sebastian is kind of, you heard it before. I thought he said a couple of things that were a little new. One of them was in the age of the heart, being and doing are going to be the same. Now, in the Course in Miracles, it's not the same. In fact, he goes into, there's a place in the Course where he says being and having are the same. There's no doing in being the Son of God. And I take it that Sebastian means that in the age of the heart, we as, quote, people, bodies, personalities will come from a purer place in our heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the motivation for our doing, rather than the ego's motivation of getting. It'll be more of sharing, where we all share the same interests. So, but when he said that being and doing are the same, that's not what the Course says. It says being and having are the same. You already have everything. You don't have to do anything in order to have. But I do understand what it is that he meant by that. And basically, he's making the thought that 2,000 years ago, or even in today's world, we don't think of being born again as being born in the spirit. I don't know if I totally agree with that. I mean, I've been listening to TV evangelists speaking for years since I'm a kid about being born again, and they're always they're not talking about coming from your mother physically. They're talking about being born in spirit. So that's just a thought I have, which I share.
Yeah, lesson 303 speaks about, the Holy Christ is born in me today. 303. I like the prayer. I'll read the prayer. 303. Your Son is welcome, Father. He has come to save me from the evil self I made. He is the self that you have given me. He is but what I really am in truth. He is the Son you love above all things. He is myself as you created me. It is not Christ that can be crucified. Safe in your arms, let me receive your Son. It's just a beautiful prayer. You know, it speaks about the self that God gave us. The self is not the little self, it's the self with the capital S, the true self, it's self connected to God. And once we discover that self, then we begin to understand or feel the newness, and the cleansing, really. I'm going to read my own private lessons with Jesus. The Holy Christ in me is born. The Holy Christ is born in me today. So I just opened to that page, and this is what I got. Today we celebrate, for it is a new day. It is a day when all uncertainty has come to an end. Yourself, created in God, cannot be altered, and of this you are sure. Your resolve has strengthened, for certainty has come to take the place of doubt. You are forever safe, wrapped securely in a holy blanket of love. Your ego self no longer threatens this certainty. Be comforted by the promise that you are forever safe within the Christ mind. God has made you whole, not broken, and nothing in this world can alter that which is created complete. Celebrate as God has gifted you with the knowledge that nothing can break the covenant he shares with you. Accept this truth, for the Holy Christ in you cannot be defiled in any way. Your footsteps are quickened as you move closer to the certainty of this divine self, which you will always remain completely changeless, whole, and holy. So this was a very poignant connection with the Christ mind, which I must have felt because it touches me. It really does. It makes me see that nothing can defile the truth. Nothing can defile my holiness. The God within me, the self that I've been given to explore and to get into, and to realize how vast it really is, how amazing we are as loving creatures of God, connected to God, because that's what we are. We are a part of God. We share God's holy name. And the little name that that we were talking about before, the identity that we give ourselves, has nothing to do with the true identity of who we are. And that's the name we all share, the name of Christ.
Very nice. Hi, Reverend Wayne. How are you? Audrey, Cindy, Lindy, everyone who's joined us. I feel moved to read from this book that I have called The Open Mind, Loving Yourself. And like I said many times, it's a divine guidance. You ask for guidance or you have a question, you close your eyes, just hold the book in the palm of your hand, you open it up. And I could do it right now for myself. And then I'm going to ask somebody if they want to pick a number from 11 to 309 and see what comes up for you. But right now I'm going to do it for myself and see what comes up. And why this is divine guidance is I did not write the book. It came through me while I was teaching on America Online when there was no microphones, everything was done in text. And a gal named Valinda Vujovic copied and pasted everything I said and took it to Kinko's, turned it into a book. And she called the book Into Oneness, and that book is, was published in 2005, I think it was. And I realized that they were charging too much for the book, so I found a new publisher. She was teaching right here at ACIM Gathers, Suzanne Deakins, and she was a publisher that said, I'll publish a book for you. We'll give it a new ISBN number. And she put it out so that instead of Amazon's $20, it sold for less than $14, which is nice. So it's the same book. And all you do is close your eyes, open the book to any page, and that is divine guidance. And I opened up to page 184 and 185. And there's only a few sentences on 184. And it says, there are no solutions to what the world presents us with. There is only the prayer to awaken now. That is the only solution. And that is what the teachers of God are here to do. Wow. Wow. Yeah. And on page 185, which is the second half of the guidance, we always do both the left and the right. It says, whenever two or more are gathered, oh, wow. We were just talking about that yesterday. That's how ACIM gather got its name. Whenever two or more are gathered in his name, he is here with us. He will extend his love through us as we open our minds and ask for the peace of God, for that is all that is required to enter the kingdom, which is our home, love itself. And that's the guidance that comes to me after saying I'm open to divine guidance. Does anyone want to try their own divine guidance? Just need a number from 11 to 309, 307, something like that. And
Ozzy has her hand up.
oh, Audrey, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I have the book here. Thank you, Dev. So I opened it up to page 162. So I'd like to read that.
Very good. Go ahead.
There is more than one way to understand. Some will find it in this course and in the exercises that we do today. So the course is saying that doing the lessons does work and is one of the ways we can understand and know our invulnerability. John Mundy, one of the course teachers, used to say, if one dies before he dies, then he doesn't die when he dies. It's an old Tibetan saying. So that was page 162. I love it. That's helpful for me. And you said you're supposed to read the other page too, Dev?
Oh, yeah, you read the left and then the right.
Perfect. Okay, so 163. Just about everything we do and get attached to in this dream we made together is to forget ourself, our one self. The one we kind of left at the door when we came into this world, and the one which we have forgotten. While we are tempted by everything here that appears to have more worth than our one self. So this is the way back to self-worth, where we recognize and realize that nothing here can ever be more than the light of a candle when seen in the light of the sun. That's beautiful. Wow. Thank you. I love that.
Thank you, Audrey. Audrey, what's the title on the cover of the book?
Oh, am I not reading the right book? It's Into Oneness.
Yeah, okay, that is the first book. The only reason it's the same as this book, except the pages are different.
Okay.
I'm looking at 162 and I realized you must have had the original book. That's the original book, Into Oneness. And that's the one that Amazon priced at $20. It's a soft cover book. Well, but they never changed it. So this woman, Suzanne Deakins, who used to teach here, and she's a publisher in Oregon, said, I'll publish the book for you. We'll change the name of the book. And the name of this book is called The Open Mind, Loving Yourself. And that's the title that I gave to it. The title that you're looking at is the title that Belinda gave to it, because it's Belinda was the editor who took what I shared for 3 years and took it to Kinko's and turned it into a book. So she got to give it the title Into Oneness, which is a great title. And I like my title too, The Open Mind, Loving Yourself. I see we're at the end of our time, and thank you so much, Myrna, for another wonderful hour of power.
Yes.
And thank you, Audrey, for reading the book. And I guess you're on right now with Rev. Dan.
Thanks, you guys, so much. And I'm so grateful for both of you. What a great hour. And we will see you again probably Thursday in